True blood! Yeah! What? Fuck off! I'll kill you! Hey! I'm all yours!
Dick! Come here.
I'm with you.
When's the last time I ate something? Heal. Quick! 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 Go! Quick! God! Quick! God! Go! God! God! Go! Go! God! Oh, boy. There now. I need to ask you something.
If you're here for charcoal, you'll have to...
I'm not here about charcoal. I'm looking for Stanya, an alehouse maid from Kuttenberg.
Aha! And why are you looking here?
I heard she was consorting with some charcoal burner here.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Who goes with who?
I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like that. But that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know, how can I be sure you aren't that killer?
Lumir himself, the Kuttenberg bailiff's former scribe, gave me the task. He was looking into her disappearance, and he sent me to find her.
Well, I don't know. I remember Lumir. He was all right. That's all true, but...
But what? What are you still brooding over?
You seem like the right man for a job like that. Sorry, but after all that happened to Stanya, I like to be careful.
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us. Since that thing happened, she's afraid to even go outside. I don't know what to do with her anymore.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help you. She's hiding in that cottage, but be nice to her. She's in a bad way. She used to be such a gutsy girl. Till we meet again.
Who are you? How did you find me? If you came here to finish what you started, I'm not afraid of you. I'll claw your eyes out.
Don't be afraid. Barton told me where to find you.
Barton sent you to me. What do you want from me?
Lumir thought you were dead. I was supposed to find out what happened to you.
Lumir? From the rat house. He sent you.
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kuttenberg. Lumir thought it might be connected with you, so maybe you could help us find out who did it.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg since... I don't even know when.
You disappeared from the hole in the wall without saying goodbye. Without a word. What happened?
Someone attacked me when I was coming home from the baths one night. I managed to get away, but I was so afraid. I decided to run away from Kuttenberg.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he jumped out of the shadows and grabbed me around the neck. And he was terribly strong. I nearly blacked out right away.
And how did you manage to break free?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with it. He howled and let me go, and I ran away.
Here? To the charcoal burners?
No, first to my room in the hole. I was so scared there. I took what I could and ran. Here, to Barton.
And your lover? What did he say?
At first he was horrified, because I had cut myself on a shard from the pitcher and was all bloody. He's been hiding me here since then.
What was it like working in the hole?
Well, I earned a few groschen, that I did. But I often had to grit my teeth.
How so?
Every single day I had to put up with their lewd remarks. Rich or poor, everyone wants to grope a girl. People, well, us girls have to watch out. We can't just put up with it. And sometimes we have to be tough, especially in a place like the hole. But you can't overdo it either. That's no good.
How so?
Because if you smile at them nicely, then sometimes they leave a groschen, or even two. You have to keep a balance. To look friendly, but unavailable.
You said that rich or poor, they all like to grope girls. Like who?
Truth be told, the hole isn't exactly a good place for a rich man, but young von Groll used to go there for a while.
Is that so? Did he talk to you?
He smiled at me a lot, so I smiled back, but beyond a few groschen, there was nothing more to it. Then this thieving wench started hanging around him and... Oh, it doesn't matter. But that servant of his didn't like it, tried to drive her away, and so the young lord stopped bringing him with him.
Von Groller had a servant with him?
Aye, a pudgy fella, well-dressed, but had a mean face. He never said a word or smiled, or even said thank you.
You walked home from the baths at night?
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night, the baths are...
Ah, right. I went there after closing. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or ale and took a bath while they drank it.
Aha. So that's why you had the empty pitcher you hit him with?
Right. I went there regularly. Every week.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way. The shortest one. I didn't want to stay out too long at night.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the baths?
Well, everyone from the tavern, I reckon. I didn't hide it.
Why didn't you go back to the hole?
Just to get murdered there? Are you mad? I'm never going back there. Not...
How are you now?
I'm still awful scared. I can't fall asleep knowing that, and I can't even really leave the house.
Do you remember anything important about the attacker? What he looked like? What he was wearing?
I don't know anything. It was at night. He grabbed me from behind, and then I ran and never turned back.
And what about when you hit him? What did he do?
He let me go and cursed.
Aha. And what did he say?
He said Scheisse in German.
Seems you're the only one to survive the killer's attack. I know it isn't easy for you to think about it, but try to remember something else about that moment, or when you were running away. Anything can help us, even if it seems insignificant.
I don't know. It's all like in a fog.
You were walking down the street. Did you notice anything before he attacked you?
No, nothing.
You didn't see anything or hear anything?
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't empty. I heard somebody talking, but when I looked, there was nobody there. So when somebody grabbed me, I completely froze.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Not at all. But There were two voices. Two of them waiting for me there.
Couldn't it have been that innkeeper then?
Aye, when he drinks, he turns into a total bastard. Only when I got to my room, I could hear him snoring.
Couldn't it have been Father Prokop?
Father Prokop?
No, he's pretty old. He preaches in the Church of St. Peter.
I don't know him.
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy.
Aye, I thought it pretty silly. A stupid, though I reckon he's more likely to attract an...
It's difficult, I understand. But I need you to think hard one more time. Aside from those voices and the empty street, what else do you remember?
I didn't hear him at all. And then he grabbed me.
And nothing else? Did he grab your hair?
Well, no. He grabbed me by the throat right away and squeezed. Just for a moment. But I still had a big bruise round my neck for weeks. Barton said the man must have had a terribly strong grip. Like a miner or swordsman.
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologize.
Thank you. Could I ask you for a favour?
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard, would you please let me know? So I can finally stop being afraid.
I'll stop by if I can.
God be with you, sir. What? Can I help you?
God grant you health. Good soul, help out today.
How are your knees? Feeling better?
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Catherine we'd wait for her.
You know Catherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so? See, I was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
Oh, I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well,
Well? Who do you suspect now?
well, I'd say William did it. The minstrel.
You can't be serious. He's innocent.
Uh-huh. And who do you think it was?
Prokop. I'm sure of it.
No. Really? That's impossible. It couldn't have been him.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Prokop also admitted that he didn't know how to handle her, and perhaps he was too strict.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper? Man punishes and God forgives. It never occurs to them that if man didn't punish, God wouldn't have to forgive.
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it against him. He really tried to make sure she was well taken care of. He wanted to find her a husband, too.
And did you learn who he found?
No. I think it fell apart when Yarka started rebelling. Yarka started working for the von Grolla family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
Ah, so what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Grolla's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
And now, most importantly, Yarka was pregnant when they killed her.
I didn't know that. Do you know for sure? So they gutted her.
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant? I wouldn't be surprised.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know who the father is, we'll likely know who the killer is.
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dances. Maybe William.
Before her death, I heard she often went to dances.
There's nothing wrong or surprising about that.
Maybe. Prokop was convinced that she went to see William.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means she had some relationship with William.
Prokop is convinced that she was murdered by that bard, William.
I heard the daughters of important men come to see him.
Really? But I found out you accused Prokop first, Lumir.
What? Why?
It doesn't matter. It was a mistake.
And were you as sure then as you are now about William?
I don't think so. But he's a skirt chaser. If he...
Perhaps. But why would he kill and mutilate her? He could have just run away.
But then he could never come back.
Why not? He could come back a year later, once things have died down, the child would be born, the shameful...
I suppose that's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more...
But it's not enough.
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy.
Agreed.
I'm sure William...
William isn't the only man with a prick.
Such language.
That William isn't the only man in the city.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been...
I suppose you're right.
I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
So, she's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
But she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. Well, according to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheiße sometimes, and I'm not German.
Besides that, she also recalled hearing two voices in the alley.
Good day.
Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Or an accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right? And he didn't go to report it.
I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop. She said no.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him. Or he gave a different name. Or...
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to frequent the worst tavern in Kuttenberg.
Stanya admitted that she knows William. He flirted with her and tried to get to know her better, but nothing came of it.
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her. And likely rape her before that.
Well, perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. She's sure it wasn't William, and no matter what they say about him, in her eyes he's a good lad. And that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. I managed to find Zdena.
You found her? Is she alive too?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time, so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewelry on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
She said someone followed her on horseback from Kuttenberg. She tried to lose him, but apparently wasn't able to.
On horseback? I don't suppose she described him, did she?
Only as a wealthy type who never got too close.
That doesn't fit in with the previous murders.
Father Prokop came looking for Zdena and nearly cursed her on the spot.
What did he have in common with a thief?
He had also looked after her, but unlike Yarka, she ended up on the street, and he took it badly. Ugh. My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
Greetings.
Greetings to you. Thank you.
Greetings to you, friend. I suspect one of the Von Grollers.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Yorka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor, and young Von Groller fits.
True, true.
We could be.
Yorka was pregnant, and if the father was young Von Groller, it would make sense if he got rid of her.
Sakura, you're right.
But William could have fucked her too. Just saying.
Zdeno was followed by someone on a horse. Von Groller could afford a horse.
That's not so sure, is it? And maybe...
But it certainly worsens the case for him. That much.
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young...
Well, old Von Groller can't...
So do we really agree that our most...
Aye.
I don't have a problem.
They'll just laugh.
So, you want to...
There's nothing else
We have to find...
You could sneak in there.
Or break in.
Catherine, that's not necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones, or a swordsman, or break in? That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
New bench. Ours is all creaky, and I keep getting splinters from it. Oh well, I made it myself. Oh, it's you. Back already?
Looks like it, doesn't it?
It sure does. Go on then. How was it?
Do your shopping here and you're in the clear.
Come and take a look. Quality good.
I'm thinking of buying a rowboat, or maybe a punt. What do you want a boat for? So I don't drown in all this shit here. Last time it
The
rained for a week
finest
straight, we
wear.
were up to our knees in a river of shit.
Charcoal! Shiny charcoal. Sorted and weighed. Fair prices, fine wares.
Christ, pardon me.
Good day to you, if you're looking for some... Greetings.
Would you repair a...
Great! Happy to be of service. Take care, sir.
What is it? Why are you skulking here?
I'll bet, is it?
Well...
Greetings to you. This dispute will be settled soon, for the good of us all.
At last, someone's got the guts to say it out loud.
Guten Tag, Was wünschst
I'll have a look at the...
What can you do, sir?
Is this the house of the Von Grolle family?
Yes?
I've come on account of old Von Grolle. I hear he's seriously ill, so I came to offer my services as a healer.
You aren't the first. Why do you think you might succeed?
I'm skilled in medicinal herbs and their healing effects.
Well, I don't know if I want to let some ordinary herbalist in to see the master.
Ordinary herbalist? I beg your pardon? What would apothecaries do without our herbs? How would they brew their decoctions? Monks in the oldest monasteries in Bohemia grow all kinds of medicinal plants.
That's true. I lived for quite some time in a monastery myself, and only the most experienced brothers took care of the herb garden there. My apologies. I shouldn't have doubted you.
That's all right. I expect you're concerned about your master's well-being.
But it's late now. Please come tomorrow before noon. The master tends to be strongest in the mornings. With you, sir.
Hmm?